So I've been really busy this week, guys. I have put a ton of time, energy, and effort into all these updates, and that's why I'm doing this video, because I wanted to throw this all together in one big video that I can talk about all the updates that have happened in the past few days, because honestly, a lot has been done. So the first and foremost, I want to talk about the website, and then I have a few announcements to make about some different things I'm going to be looking to be doing, especially now that I'll probably have a bit more free time than I normally do. So the first thing I want to talk about is the website, and I have done a ton of updates to the website. As you guys know, I have gone and sold my collection, or I'm in the process of doing so, and because of that, I am no longer going to be using real cards for the graphics, which means I have updated the graphics for literally every single deck. So as you can see, if you click on a deck, you now will see this image instead of what you previously knew. I do like this because it does add side decks into the mix, so you can see what the side decks are, and I've spent a bit more time on optimizing some of these side decks. A lot of these side decks were just, one, thrown together really quickly, but two, they were catered to the Columbus pool to have a counter to Dark World, and Dark World is no longer in the format, so because of that, I've made some adjustments on lists that it didn't really feel necessary to have things like Debunk in the side deck anymore. So, made those changes. As well as, because I have switched everything to the Toronto pool, we no longer have the decks like Dark World and Demise OTK. I know a lot of you guys were fans of that Demise OTK list, but ultimately it had to go. And honestly, it'll probably get moved somewhere else. Hint, hint, if you want to know what's to come. But yeah, so to make up for that, though, I have added a few new decks to the website. I added Archfiends, which is Richard's list that he ended up winning the tournament with. Then I added my own Fortune Lady list, which honestly, I spent a lot of time on this list, guys. So if you guys want to see an ideal Fortune Lady list, you can go to the website and check this one out, because honestly, it's pretty competent for Fortune Ladies. Then Gemini. This is a Gemini list that I've personally been tampering with a bit. I thought it was cool, and I figured I'd throw it in. I don't think it's perfect, but I know that a lot of you guys will probably want to tamper with it, so why not throw it on there? And then lastly, I added Carpath's KFC list that he ended up topping or winning with. I don't remember. I remember he performed quite well with this in a Tengu tournament, and I felt like it deserved a slot on the site. So I have added this list to the website. In addition to adding decks, I also completely reworked a few. So for example, Jurak, I adjusted it to be Amazing Mike Man's list instead of the one that I initially had on there that I just kind of threw together. I felt like Amazing Mike Man, he won a tournament with it, so he proved that it probably deserves a spot over the one I threw together. So yeah, Amazing Mike Man got a slot here on the website. We also have Naturia. This one got completely reworked as well. I adjusted it because we saw Naturia top 4 with I Am the Wanderer, and because of that, I wanted to throw their list on the website because this is the best performing Naturia list I have seen. So, got to give credit where credit's due. It got top 4, so I wanted to adjust it compared to the one that I also had thrown together on the website. I also adjusted Recruiters. If you guys remember, the deck Recruiters was on the website. I changed it to Recruiter Fairy. This is following along the Edison format type build that you typically see, and I feel like this is just one way more competent of a strategy and honestly makes more sense. I do think this is probably more viable as well if you want to try running it. I think this just makes sense. So yeah, definitely something relatively untested, but I do think this is just a much more competent way to approach Recruiters than the initial one, so that's why I decided to throw this in the way it is. And then we also did a few changes to things like Six Samurai, TG Stun, Worms. I changed the Worm list from Robert Boyagin's list because of the fact that, that list, it worked well at its time, but I do think this is the list that has topped in the Tengu Plant Discord a couple times, so I just wanted to show off some basic, this seems like a pretty basic standard worm list that you would see in modern Tengu today, and I think it's a lot better than the Robert Boyagin one. I typically tend to keep them at historical lists, but when it's like that different and this is just that much better, I just felt like this was worthwhile. And then I also updated the scrap deck to have Himne's scrap list that he won the tournament with, because again, I think this is one of the better performing scrap lists. I know scrap's topped historically, but I think most scrap players agree that historical top list was not the best. It ran things like gores and stuff when you're running a ton of continuous traps, and it just didn't make a lot of sense. So I decided to go with Himne's winning list and adjust it like that. So yeah, those are some of the main adjustments. We also, you know, made a few things, like I changed up some of the icons for some of the decks, just made sure they're all different from one another, so every deck has its own unique icon. I had a few that repeated, like, for example, like Flamvell Sworn, like now Flamvell Sworn, even like on its graphic has like a little rekindling thing instead of a fire dog, which I think is kind of cool. But yeah, that's the goes for the updates for the website. There is a few other things I want to talk about. One of the big things is I have decided to start using my Discord again. As many of you guys know, I link the Tengu Plant Discord at the end of all my videos, or talk about it in a lot of my videos, and link it in the description of all my videos. But I'm also going to start using my personal Discord. I want to host events for Tengu Plant, for example, my ARAM tournament. I want to host that for you guys in my own Discord. So if you guys want to join, I'll put a link to it in the comments as well as the description. I'm going to be hosting an ARAM tournament on July 22nd. So if you guys want to come participate and play, then more power to you. Come and join my Discord, and I would love to see you there. It'll be a lot of fun. But yeah, so all you got to do, it's on the website. You can click this link here to join, or you can go join in the description or whatever of the video. But yeah, so I'm going to be using the Discord, and if you guys have paid attention to the Discord, there's a couple extra formats in there beyond just Tengu Plant format. I didn't want to put everything because ultimately I want to take it a step at a time. I do want to add other formats to the website, and I really want to support the ones that I personally believe in. And one of the formats I really believe in that I actually fully intend on adding next to the website is going to be YCS Miami 2013. So if you guys want to take a look, this is what that format is and was. This format was right before Meadowlands. So it's like right at the end of September 2012 and right at the beginning of Meadowlands. So this is before the ban list took place, where they swapped out, like they banned Sangan and stuff like that. So windups are still playable, but it's basically like windup OTK format, but Mermails and Fire Fists are thrown into the mix, as well as spell books and some other things, which I personally think is really cool. Historically, I was super fond of it. And no one plays this format. Like, no one even talks about it. It's not even like one that like exists for some reason. And I personally think it's like the second best format to Tengu Plant format. I love this format. So I wanted to start covering it, and I fully intend on doing videos for it. I've already started working on making a library for it to put on the website, so you can look forward to that. It might take a while, because honestly, making a library takes a very, very long time, especially if you're trying to like make sure you have like one of everything and, you know, all that good stuff. So I will be working on it. So if you guys are interested in playing it, I also want to host events for it, which I will be doing in my Discord. So don't forget to click that link and join the Discord. But yeah, that's what's to come. That's what I'm hoping to do. In no way is it going to cut in or interfere with my Tengu Plant content. I still am fully intending on continuing my Tengu Plant content. I just want to throw in an extra thing in the mix because I do like other formats and I want to support them as well, especially YCS Miami, because like I said, literally no one plays it for some reason. So I would like to get that changed or make a change in that. So I'm going to work towards that as well. But like I said, it won't get in the way of my current Tengu Plant content. Lastly, another thing that is good to know is I have launched a Patreon. So a lot of you guys were commenting in my video talking about selling my collection, that you guys would be interested in supporting me directly, which blew me away. I never would have expected that, so I really appreciate it. So I threw together a Patreon for you guys to interact with, that you guys can give a shot. We already have 3, and I'll give a shout out to them at the end of the video. So, you know, for those of you that have already started supporting me, I really appreciate it. Like I said, I would have never guessed that was even possible. So incredible, right? So yeah, we have 3 different tiers. The first one is going to just be the standard one. If you want to throw a little my way just to help support my videos and the content I make, then the reward is you get access to my personal deck list. A lot of times on the website, you're going to see lists that are not my personal ones. They're going to be like a historical list or something else, or someone else's, but I have my own personal builds for many of the decks in Tengu Plant format. And so I have a whole channel in my Discord dedicated for my Patreons to go look and see what decks I am testing for tournaments, what I'm messing with, what my builds are, before I even cover them in videos or anything like that. I feel like that's the best way I could give back to you guys, because honestly, I spend a lot of time on those decks lists and they're really unique. So it's definitely worth taking a peek, and you know, I'll try to update that channel regularly. Also, if you want to go for raw yellow tier, you then will get access to my ARAM tournaments. You will get priority access. So my Patreons will have priority access in my ARAM tournaments. So which means, you know, those tournaments cap at 8 people. if you are a patron, you have priority on getting in there, and you will never be cut off. If we have 11 patrons, we're running a tournament with 11 people. That's just how it's going to be, you know. So I want to give back to the people that are supporting me, and I felt like that's a really good way to do it. So you basically will always have a guaranteed spot in ARAM tournaments or my tournaments that I host if you want them. The ones that have a cap, for example, which ARAM tournament is not the only thing I intend on doing. I actually have a few other specialty tournament ideas that I think sound really fun that I'd like to propose to you guys. So if you're interested in any of that, then like I said, join the Discord, and supporting the Patreon is going to be the best way to, you know, guarantee access to that. And then lastly, the Obelisk Blue tier. This is something where if you want to connect with me more, you guys, I will take time out of every month to sit down and play a match of Tengu Plant with you and, you know, kind of talk, you know, whatever, go over ideas. You know, it's up to you. You don't have to use it every month, but I will, you know, fully support any Patreon that supports me in this way. So those are my 3 tiers. As you can see, this is just what the rest of it is. The links to my Discord is also on the Patreon. Just remember, if you guys do subscribe, I have a couple guys that have subscribed, and I message them on the Patreon app to ask what their usernames are, to like put them in my Discord, and I don't have that information until they respond. So make sure you guys, if you do subscribe, check your messages so I can give you access to your perks. I mean, maybe you don't care about it, you just want to support, and I really appreciate that. But hey, I'd love to give you your perks as well. You might as well get them. So yeah, just shoot me a message on the Patreon app and I will get that taken care of. I do check this regularly now, so that's what I have going on if you want to support me directly. And lastly, I want to talk about my channel itself, guys. I am at 973 subscribers, and like I said, at 1,000 my channel gets monetized, which means I can, just by simply subscribing, you support me and my content, which is absolutely huge. So let's reach that goal of 1K. I am so close, guys. That's, you know, like 26 or 20 math, that's 27 away. So, you know, that's really big. I would definitely really appreciate that extra support, guys. We are so close. So for the last part of this video, guys, I just want to take a moment to shout out the patrons. Sven Olbrehend, sorry if I'm butchering your name, thank you so much. Brian Ford, and of course we got Photo Shooty for coming in supporting me. So thank you guys so much for the direct support. I genuinely really appreciate it. I never would have, you know, guessed that was possible. So I really do appreciate you guys going out of your way to support me. It really does go a long way with me. But other than that, that's going to wrap it up for this video, guys. Let me know in the comments what you think about the changes that are being made. You know, if you guys like them, if you like the new graphics. Also, what you guys think about the YCS Miami format. I really am curious to know if other people want to play that as bad as I do, because I personally loved it, but like I said, no one really talks about it. So that's why I'm kind of throwing it out there to see how you guys feel about it. But other than that, thank you so much for watching, guys. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and have a great time doing today.